Welcome, welcome everyone. You have made it, you're here, whether it's your current self or your future self, looking back at this. My name is Leanne Reagan and I'm tickled and delighted and slightly nervous for this workshop. It's brand new. So you are the very first ones to get all of this new content. And speaking of content, we're focusing on the surprising skill, should probably say skills, you didn't know you needed when giving feedback. I did a bunch of research on this, and if you've been to a roundtable before, you'll know that you get, if you're a member, you'll get everything. So all the books I used, all of the research is yours. So welcome, welcome, welcome. Absolutely delighted that you're here, and know that you belong here. Let me know in the chat, where are you? Where does this find you? It's 5 p.m. here in Nairobi. So this is usually a good time zone for the Americas. So let me know, where are you? Where in the world is this? So we've got Cairo, Egypt, East Tennessee, Martin's in Geneva. We've got Olga from Bonn, and Angelica from Austria, Moira from Dorset in the UK. We've got, in the Philippines, Panama City, Bruges, Jeffrey in Naivasha, that's in Kenya. It's so beautiful there. Lovely. Well, and we have Van from Virginia in the States. So wherever this finds you, I'm so glad you made it here. Again, my name is Leanne Reagan, and I have been in the learning and development field for some, we've got someone unmuted. If you don't mind, just keep yourself muted. If you have a question, you can just pop it in the chat. I appreciate that. Know that I tend to focus on 3 different areas. So I work with clients, social change agents, so mostly UN agencies, but lots of different social change agencies. And I focus on working better together. So I do a lot of team building, I do a lot of change management, conflict resolution, creativity, culture, basically things that start with C. And I do a lot of digital engagement, tech tools for ease and efficiency. And I also work with subject matter experts to help them design and deliver powerful training. Welcome, Alana, and Mary Jo is just coming in as well. So a couple of housekeeping things. If you wish, you are welcome. Folks asked for this around a LinkedIn group. So I'll put this link in the chat. And if you're interested, no pressure. No pressure. If you're interested, feel free to join the roundtable, and I'm happy to gift my online Ban Boring Online Meetings course to anyone who joins today. So feel free to join if that's something you're interested in. Also, feel free, please. We have so many lovely, interested people in the group. So please feel free to participate. You've carved out this time, so make the most out of your time. Ask questions, offer resources, your tips, etc. in the chat. And know that if you want a copy of the PowerPoint, if you want the recordings, the audio, the visual, if you want the workbook, you need to be a member to do that. So I will put that in the chat, and I'll talk a little bit more about that at the break. So that is the LinkedIn group. And if you're watching this, the recording, all the links will be down below. This was the second highest RSVP'd roundtable in 10 years of roundtables. So we have a really lovely group today. Also, we're leading up to the 100th roundtable. We've done 10 years, and June, we're gonna have a big party, online party. So in the agenda, I put a link to 100 life lessons. I'm collecting 100 life lessons, things that people have learned. So feel free to, Alana, woo-woo, right? So feel free to add to that. Also, every month I ask for your feedback, and I know that feedback, filling in the survey is not always very interesting. So to help entice you, I do two things. One is there's a little surprise at the end of the survey, which I'll give you at the end of the roundtable today. And two, I always pick someone who's very graciously given feedback, and I gift them access to my Ban Boring online meeting course. So I'll announce at the end of today who I picked from last month's people who filled in the feedback. Also, I know how hard it is to carve out time for training. I also know, oh, hang on, sorry, the screen here. I also know how hard it is to actually apply that learning. So every month I rotate between a couple of different tools, different ways to help you curate your learning. So this is my HARP worksheet that I've designed. So if you wish, once you download it, you can put your highlights there, things you want to take action on, resources that we talk about, and then the P of HARP is for pictures. So our brains interpret images 600,000 times faster than text. So feel free to doodle in that quadrant. Okay, it's your turn. I found a little bit out. Oh, why does this keep moving? Sorry, folks. A little bit about where you're at. I would love to know, and I'm using a brand new tool here. I've practiced. I try to challenge myself every workshop I give to try a new tech tool and a new learning activity. So in a moment, you should see in the chat a chance. We're going to do a live word cloud, and well, I'm going to keep my fingers. We can do this. So I'm just sending you. So we've got some more folks coming in, and you should be able to see. Okay, so you should see in the chat an opportunity to fill in your answers to when you think about giving or receiving feedback, how do you feel? So let me know in the chat. Can you see the place to submit? It should have popped up in your chat there. So let me know in the chat. Can you see where to submit your answers there? Oh, you can't see it. Okay, why is it not? Okay, I'm opening it again. Thank you, Moira, for letting me know. Thank you, Alexandra. Okay, can you see it now? I have a backup, so if this doesn't work, you can't see it. Why can't you see it? So you not yet. Okay. Well, I don't want to. Oh, sorry. I don't want to keep you waiting. Oh, so I'm trying an app. It's called Pigeonhole. It says it's, I'm going to try one more time, and then I have a backup in case it didn't work. Okay, can you see it now? Oh, Moira's saying it's at the top of the chat. Oh, Moira, thank you. Okay, if you scroll to the top of the chat, can you enter your answers? Oh, Alana, thank you. Oh, yay! People are DMing me. And okay, so if you go, thank you. So good information to know. You need to go to the top of the chat, and then Alana saying, click the icon. And then my request is that you give me a couple of words. You can do one word if you wish, or a couple, but give me a couple of words that reflect how do you feel about, oh, it's not, oh, saying you need to sign in. Okay, Well, you know what? We gave it a good try. So we'll skip that then. So I'm going to turn it off. Ugh. Okay. Oh, for Karina, it is working. Okay. So for some it is, for some it's not. Okay. So thank you. By the way, thank you for your patience. If you can't access it, if it's not working for you, I have a DM saying you have to click open. Oh, thank you, Diana. Oh, it worked for Alana. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Okay. Great. Okay. Oh, thanks, Alana. Okay. So if you click on that, nice. Oh, I can see a bunch of folks. And it's automatically creating a word cloud. So feel free to just making notes. So if you have, so I can see a few people have entered. And make sure you press enter because, yeah. Okay, great. Nice, nice, nice. Now, can you see the answers or is it just, oh, and Needy saying, make sure you press submit. I love my team. I love, or rather this community. I love how helpful you all are. That's awesome. Okay. Oh, Ranya's coming in. Okay, you can see the answers. Great. Okay. Great, great, great. Okay. Okay, so we're going to come back to that. And if you wish, you may want to make a note of the words that you submitted, because I want to ask you again at the end of our time together today. So for a moment here, I am just going to close this poll. And we're going to continue. So thank you. Thank you for your patience. New tech. Alana's saying you needed to scroll down for the submit. Okay. So as we dive in, these are the things that we're going to talk about and engage with. So I don't know about you, but and let me know in the chat, has anyone done research on especially receiving feedback? This research just gobsmacked me, just astonished me. So that's why I wanted to do a roundtable on it. So how important it is to be able to receive feedback well. We'll talk about that. We'll learn some simple techniques for being able to give feedback more effectively. And we'll talk about some surprising fallacies, things that we think are true but aren't. Some simple tips to help your nerves. Usually, let me know in the chat on a scale of 1 to 5, so I've asked for words before, but now I'm looking for numbers. How do you feel about giving or receiving feedback? So 1 is, I'd rather, I don't know, go without food and water for a week. Or 5 is bring it on. I love it. So let me know. Oh, we've got lots of diversity already. A 1, 5, 4, 4, 4. Okay. So we're going to practice some tips if you're, and there's no judgment wherever you are on that scale. Practice some tips to help your nerves, to be able to relax when you're receiving or giving feedback. We're going to put the I and try. We're going to respell try. And some simple tips for both giving and receiving feedback. And again, if you, Needy's saying it depends. Yeah. We're going to talk about that. Yeah, it does depend on the person who's giving it. Absolutely. Research is with you, Needy. And if you are a UN staff person, you can count, if you wish, if you sign the attendance sheet, you can count this towards your annual mandated training. And I'll give you the link for that later. Okay, can I get a thumbs up? Are you good to dive in? Let me know. Are we good to go ahead? Let me know if you have any questions. Okay, I've got a couple of thumbs up. Great, great. And questions, of course, are welcome anytime. And not just questions, but comments. And I know there's a lot of wisdom in the group. So Okay, so I'm going to give you 7 reasons why giving and receiving feedback is so critical. So in no particular order, first I'm going to give you some context. I love this. Oh, someone's DMing me about the attendance sheet. I'll give you the link at the end of the workshop. Yeah, so you can watch for that there. I love this quote. I've been graded, rated, and ranked, coached, screened, and scored. I've been picked first. I've been picked last. I've not been picked at all. And that was just kindergarten. And if that word is not familiar to you, in the North American system, when you're in kindergarten, you're about 5 years old. There are about 825 million hours spent every year annually. How many years do you think that is? So 825 million hours every year is spent on giving and receiving feedback, like prepping for that. How many years do you think that is? I'm just reading a fabulous book. Here it is. If you've been to other roundtables, you know I'm such a fan of the Heath brothers. It's about making numbers count. Fabulous. If you need to communicate numbers, it's such a good book. So any guesses? How many years is 825 million hours? Okay, so Laura is guessing 300. Okay, any other guesses? Good guess. Martin is saying 95,000. Good guess. Good guess. Gia is saying 94,178. I love the precision. That's awesome. Okay, well, drum roll. Here is your answer. 94,000, about 94,000 years. Yeah, gee. Oh, someone's DMing me is on their way home and joining when. So welcome. We'll welcome you back when you come back. Yeah, so 94,000 years. It's the equivalent globally, annually, 94,000 years. The equivalent of that in hours is spent prepping for and delivering feedback. Isn't that amazing? I'm just astounded by that. Yet research shows that feedback tends to be very poorly delivered and also poorly received. And this is the first resource that I'll share with you. Fabulous book. Oh, so good. Thanks for the feedback. It's by Douglas Stone and Sheila Heen. I'll put this in the workbook that members get. So let me know in the chat, have you ever received feedback that was, wow, it was super helpful. It was delivered really, really well. You trusted the feedback. Let me know in the chat. Alana, the book's called Thanks for the Feedback. Yeah, it'll be in the workbook that I send to members. So let me know, have you received, so you can answer this yes or no. Have you received feedback that's been super helpful, that was delivered really well, that you trusted? Do you tend to get that kind of feedback? Yes or no? Oh, so some of you, yes, awesome. Oh, and some of you are DMing me. Okay, great. Great. I'm so glad that some of you have had that experience. And Alana is saying, and lots no. Alphys, oh, hi, Al, is saying not really. Hi, Rania. So nice to have you here. So it's a real mix. So some is like absolutely not, some not really, some yes. Yeah, it's a really, and we focus, what really is so interesting to me is that we focus so much on how to give feedback. And I will teach you a super great tool. I use this all the time for how to give feedback more effectively, but we don't focus on how to receive feedback. Okay, so again, this is from Thanks for the Feedback by Douglas Stone and Sheila Heen. So why, like, you know, of all the things that you could be paying attention to in the world, why is giving feedback? We're getting lots of no's in the chat now, lots of no's. You might be kind of scratching your head like, have I ever gotten feedback that's helpful? And for UN staff, you might be thinking about your e-passes. Those, I know those are so, and I know they're coming up. New York, was it New York or Nairobi suggested I do this now. because it's getting up to e-pass time. So why is this so, like, you could be like, it's no big deal, like I'll just ignore the feedback, or, why is it such a big deal? Well, I'm going to try to convince you. I'm going to try to give you the research on it's remarkably life-changingly important. So number one, we are not a very good, rememberer of ourselves. We tend to self-serve ourselves, right? So when we're looking back on things, we tend to think that things that we've done are better than they are. So getting feedback from other people is, if it's delivered well and it's proper feedback, it's really, really good, because it really helps reduce that distortion. Number two, it's really important because what happens, and actually on the count of three, if everyone can unmute, so everyone unmute just for a sec, unmute, just for a minute. And on the count of three, repeat the word amygdala, amygdala. So 1, 2, 3.
Amygdala.
Thank you. Thank you. So you can mute again. You can mute again. And you now know how to say the Greek word for almond. Okay, so the Greeks named the parts of our brain, and these two amygdalas, hi Akira, welcome, that are in our brain, one on the left side, one on the right side. They're called amygdalas because they look like almonds. And what happens is information comes into the brain and it tends to go through our amygdalas. And if the amygdalas are not happy, so if we're getting feedback and we're nervous, scared, overwhelmed, anxious, upset, embarrassed, we're in conflict, we're unsure of ourselves, all of those things, what happens is our amygdalas, they get bigger in size. They actually grow to be the size of walnuts. So our brains are wired with these amygdalas to focus on some other things other than receiving feedback calmly and competently. So what happens is we pay more attention. We're in that moment of responding. Instead of responding, we react. So off the cuff, oh, they don't know what they're talking about. Oh, that's not true. That is completely false. And our brains historically are wired to pay more attention to negative things, right? So imagine you're cave people, you're sitting around a fire, and what would be more important to you? Paying attention to what your fellow cave people are saying about I don't know, your skins, like how you're dressed. And by the way, if there's any anthropologists or whatever, I could be getting my timelines mixed up here, or paying attention to, there's a woolly mammoth or a saber-toothed tiger or something that's going to attack us, right? So we pay attention to those saber-toothed tigers, but we don't pay attention in a way that allows us to thoughtfully respond, right? We get really, really fired up. And our brain tries to convince us we have only 3 responses: fight, freeze, or flee, right? So our brains, they think that they're protecting us, but they're not doing a very good job at that point. Also, because of those saber-toothed tigers, welcome, Julia. So lovely to have you here. Our brains are like Teflon. If you're familiar with Teflon, Teflon is like no stick. Teflon, our brains are more like Teflon for positive things, right? So they just slide off. They don't really stick. But those negative things that people tell us, oof, it's like Velcro. right? If you have ever had, a pair of runners, maybe your children's runners that have Velcro. So those negative things really, really, really stick. And the positive things tend to slide away. This is another really, really fabulous book. It's called Conquer Worry and Anxiety. And again, I'll put this in the workbook. So some of the research from this roundtable is from here. And we're going to talk about this later, but has anyone heard of ants? If you know, in terms of mental health and anxiety, he is the creator of ants. And if you're like, Leanne, why are you talking about bugs? I'll tell you about what I mean in just a little bit. But his research is saying that, bad news like that gets quickly stored in the brain because it's trying to keep us safe, trying to protect us from those saber-toothed tigers, the equivalent. But for a positive experience, it has to be held in our awareness, our consciousness, for 12 seconds before that information sinks in. I'm just looking quickly here at a DM. Okay. So someone put a lovely comment in the DM about how do you separate the person from the performance. So if I may make a suggestion, once we go through the skills and the tools and the research, let me know if you still have that suggestion. I'd love to know. So if that works, and feel free to DM me later on if you still have the question. Okay, speaking of ants, has anyone heard of ants when we're talking about anxiety, mental health? Melissa saying no. Has anyone heard of it? I didn't know that Daniel, I don't know if you say his name, Amen or Amen. I didn't know. Oh, hi, Diana. What a great response. Not yet. I love that. I listened to a podcast once, and an elementary school teacher would grade papers that didn't pass by saying something like, didn't pass yet, which I thought was lovely. So I didn't realize he was the creator of ants. So here we go. Ants stand for automatic negative thoughts, right? Automatic negative thoughts. So when we're being given feedback, these ants, and there's different kinds of ants, there's different kinds of automatic negative thoughts, those can get triggered very, very quickly. And what happens is there's even more distortion, right? We're trying to receive this feedback, but it's getting completely distorted. So some different types of ants. And by the way, Daniel says, Dr. Daniel says that ants tend to mate. So when you do have ants running around in your head, they can mate and they just get more and more and more and more. So welcome, Padma Say. So happy to have you here. So some different kinds of ants include awfulizing, right? So really looking at the worst case scenario. Welcome, Pierre. Thank you for coming. Blaming, right? When everything, that's not my fault. It's not my fault. That's not my fault. Fortune telling. So it's never going to change. Things are never going to get better. There's no sense of hope. And also very dichotomous thinking. So it's all or nothing, right? All or nothing. So those are some different examples of ants. Alexander saying, what's the title of that ants book? So it's not just about ants, just so you know, but it's called Conquer Worry and Anxiety. It's by Dr. Daniel. Apologies, I don't know if you say amen or amen. And I'll put this in the workbook for Roundtable members, so you get all the books in there. Okay, so may I have your permission to move on to another topic? I'm going to give you, I'm a little biased, but I think this is such a simple, easy, you can thank me later tool about how to give feedback more effectively. Is it okay if I move on? Can I get a thumbs up for that? I can see one, okay, a couple thumbs up. Okay, great, thank you. Okay, so I thought we could do make this a little bit fun. So I'm putting a link in the chat, and I'm just, if you wouldn't mind clicking on that link, and you'll see a puzzle. So feel free to take a moment and put this puzzle together. So you click on the puzzle pieces and move them around. So I'm just going to pause the recording. If your future self is listening to this, the link will be down below. So just take a moment. I'll pause the recording. Okay, so here is your tool. It's really simple. This is not difficult. This comes from the Heath brothers, Chip and Dan Heath. Really, again, I'll put the resource in the workbook. It's from their book called The Power of Moment. And I made an acronym out of it because it's just easier to remember, but just know that the N doesn't stand for anything. It just makes a nice word. So, so some of you are having trouble with the links. So Pierre, not to worry, this is what the puzzle looks like here. So the next time you're trying to give some feedback, think about these 4 steps, because what mostly happens with people giving feedback is they only focus on this step. Okay, so I'm just making things up. Ambreen, I'm just making this up. You know, I've noticed that you've been late to a couple of our staff meetings. I really need you to be on time. In fact, if you could show up 5 minutes earlier, that would be great. Period. Right? Like that is the sum total of feedback. So what's happening is I'm triggering their amygdala. Maybe they can't hear it. Maybe they don't agree with it. So if you add these 3 other steps, your chances of having that feedback land and stick and resonate go way up. So what are they? It's pretty simple. This is not brain surgery. So the first thing you want to do is set high standards. So Audrey, or actually let me know in the chat, what's something I could give me a topic that I could give feedback on to someone. Like, what's the issue? So we'll just practice. So give me a topic. I asked you to bring an example. So don't share anything that is too personal, but what's some response? Okay, so Melissa's saying response time. Okay, so presumably someone's taking too long to respond. So one way that you can start with that is by setting or speaking to high standards. Now, please excuse me because I don't know your context, so I'm just making some things up, but I might say, okay, I'm just going to use Jen as an example. So Jen, pardon me, I'm just picking someone at random. And we're just going to pretend, Jen, that there are some issues with response time. So please excuse me. So I might say something like, Jen, I really appreciate you taking the time to have a conversation. I've noticed that there have been some issues around response time. And here's the high standards part. I know that in our team, in our organization, we really pride ourselves on serving our clients well. We're really known for that, for being client-centered, participant-centered. In fact, we've gotten a lot of press about that, or commendations, like we're really known for serving our clients really well. Okay, so I'm setting the bar high. I might speak to our organization's vision, values, mission, right? But I'm talking about high standards. Then the next thing I want to do is, whoops, hang on here, what's going on? Hang on. Sorry, my eraser keeps clicking on. So the eraser won't click up. So I've set the high standards. Number 2, I want to what I call massage her amygdalas, or their amygdalas, right? So I want to say something like, I really, again, appreciate you coming in. We're having a chat to talk about this. And And I just want you to know this doesn't have to be the only time we talk about it. I have some feedback to share, some ideas, some suggestions. I'm happy to revisit it once you've had a chance to kind of ruminate and think about it. I really am interested in your perspective. I know that we can get back on top of this together, working together. And I'm here to really, to give you, as much assistance as you need. Okay, so I've given her some assurance. I'm trying to massage, pardon me, those amygdalas. Okay, so we've done the high standards, we've done the assurance, and then here comes the direction part. And remember, this is the part that most people skip right to because they're not comfortable giving feedback, and it really decreases the chance that that feedback is going to get past those amygdalas without those amygdalas turning into walnuts, and people are just, they're just not going to hear it. So this is the point where I might say something like, what could I say? Jen, can we plan out a calendar? I know we've got a big project. The deadline is in 3 months. Can we work together on a Gantt chart? Can you help me understand where the response time, where were the hiccups? What caused us to be late with that last project? And I'd love to see a Gantt chart from you with all the different team roles and the mini deadlines leading up to our big deadlines. Does that make sense? Does that work for you? What do you think about that? Okay, so I've given her, you're giving me so many great examples here. There's so many. I'm just using the top one. Oh, they're great. And then the last one here is support. So I might say something as simple as, Jen, what do you need from me going forward? How can I support you? I know it's important to you. I might go back to the high standard. I know it's important to you to make those things, to meet those deadlines on time. I'm here to support you. What do you need from me? Jen say, thank you, Jen. Thank you for letting me use your name. Not that you gave me permission, but what if the person gets defensive right away during the high standard phase and says, I feel you're telling me I'm not honoring those standards, but I have. Okay, so Jen, very cleverly, you've flipped the page, you've changed the chapter, and we're working into receiving feedback. So with your permission, can we go, we're going to get into how to receive feedback, because you're right. Just because you say all those things, doesn't mean that people aren't going to get defensive. If you understand the research on receiving feedback, it can be much easier though. Assurance and support. Yeah, they are quite similar. They are, assurance, might be more kind of emotive, right? It might be more, a little bit more, like emotive, and support can be more like 1, 2, 3, like let's meet, next Tuesday at 3:00. But you're right, they can be similar. Okay, one person's needing to go. As long as you remember, you'll get everything sent to you, usually on Monday. So the recordings, the workbook, etc. Okay, does that make sense, folks? Do you have any questions on that before we move on to the next piece? Again, this is from Chip and Dan Heath's work. Someone's asking me in a DM, can I explain assurance again? So assurance is that I kind of call it massaging amygdalas. So they might be feeling defensive. They might be feeling exhausted. They might be feeling like, are you kidding me? Like, I don't know what's going on. I'm really, really scared. What is she going to say? Is she going to fire me? Like, am I about to be fired? How am I going to make my car payment? How am I going to send my kids to school? Like, there might be a whole bunch of things running through their head. A lot of anxiety, right? We talked about those ants. That distort things, right? So lots of distortion might be happening. So the assurance piece can be as simple also as the tone of voice you use. So quiet, reflective, speaking a little lower, a little softer rather, and just giving them assurance, like, I'm so glad you came in today and are willing to have this conversation. I know we're going to get through this. I know there's been some hiccups and some problems and some challenges, and I trust our team. I trust you, and we're going to get to the other side of it. So let me, does that make sense? Let me know if that is clear. Okay, I can see some DMs here. Okay, so Jasmine is saying, can you use an example of potential downsizing and need to change jobs? Let me just check my timing here, because I love that you want another example. Let me just check and see where we're at here. Jasmine, may I do that at the end? I just want to make sure we get to all the content. I'm happy to give a couple more if folks want to hang around and have a couple more examples. Is that okay if we do it at the end of the workshop? Just let me know, because I know we could do a whole, I do work with clients and we spend a lot more time on this. And yeah, thank you for your patience on that. Okay, because the main thing, someone's asking me for more information about assurance. What I will do is, actually what I can do, how about I do this, Jasmine? I'm just going to make a note, and in the workbook that I send to the members, I will write out an example using potential downsizing and need to change jobs. So I will actually put that in the workbook. And the person that DM'd me about assurance, because a couple of you has asked me about that, I will give some more examples. I'll put that in the workbook. So great questions. These are great questions. Okay. So the main focus I want to get to is on receiving feedback, because there's so many resources on giving feedback. That's really what most people focus on. They don't really focus on receiving feedback. So you can be super great at giving feedback, but it can still run into a total brick wall. So I gave you, so for people that RSVP a couple of days ahead of time, I send you out the agenda with some things to do ahead of time. So in there was love languages, your feedback according to love languages. Did anyone get a chance to do that? That's really fun. I made that up. I designed that survey a while ago. So if you know about love languages, so do you prefer gifts? Do you prefer acts of service? Do you prefer verbal? So I made a whole survey, so you can check that out if you haven't already. What I also did, and you are the first people, brand new, to look at how much you know about giving and receiving feedback. So let me know, I'm going to give you just a couple minutes to do this. Do you want to do it in small groups, or do you want to do it on your own? What would you like? Or actually, how about this? How about if I put you into groups, and if you prefer to do it on your own, so if someone DM'd me, they want to do it on their own, I'll put you into groups, and if you want to do it on your own, just don't join the group. So I'm going to pause Okay, welcome back from your small group work or your solo work. How did you do? How did you do on the survey? Hopefully you had enough time. It's about a 3-minute survey. So
yeah, we don't have enough time. We didn't finish.
You didn't finish. Okay, no worries.
No time.
Okay. Know that when you get to the end of it, you'll get you can automatically see your score. And if there's there's this picture at the top of the survey. And if you right click it, you can download it and read about it. So there's a couple of theories that are explored in there: the theory of learning, the theory of excellence, and the idiosyncratic rater effect. And this comes from, that's such a good, where did I put it? Oh, it's an article in here called The Feedback Fallacy. So HBR's 10 must-reads on lifelong learning. So fabulous, fabulous. And you can see it at the bottom of the picture there. I'm just going to mute folks who aren't muted. I know, coming back from your small group, hopefully you had a chance to kind of chat with some folks and meet some interesting people. Just spend a couple minutes together. So I'm going to guess that there was some surprises there. The research is quite amazing. If you didn't get a chance to finish the survey, feel free to go back because it's very compelling. It's actually really, really compelling. And we'll come back to it again at the end of our time together. I do want to give you a break. We're a little bit past break time. And I do want to let you know I will announce this month's winner. I always pull someone who's given me feedback every month to win Ban Boring Online Meetings and to say thank you for giving me feedback. We'll take like a 5-minute break. It's a short time together, just an hour and a half. So time to stretch. If you aren't already having a little heart attack, did I? Yes, I did start. I did start the recording again. It's my nightmare that I'm going to do that one time, forget. So if you aren't already a member and you do want to get all the resources, the audio recording, the video recording, please click the link there to join. And I would love it if you would help grow our community. Please feel free to share the link. You can also scan the QR code. It's free to join and you'll get all the invitations. You'll get access to 10 years of Roundtable resources. I also put in the chat our May Roundtable based on the LinkedIn Roundtable group. I asked people for feedback. So you ask and I try to deliver. It's going to be on easy peasy tech tools to save your sanity in work and at home. So the information's already up. You can click on that. And then also all the dates for the rest of the year. So we'll take a break and please rejoin us in 5 minutes. Thank you, everyone. I'm so grateful to have you here. Welcome back from the break. Ceci, thank you. I can see you're just coming in. Welcome, welcome. We just finished a break for those in real time and those looking at this in the future. So let me know, what did you do on your break? Did you at least take a stretch? Oh, Monica's redoing the survey. Nice, good, good. Good job. Okay, can I get a thumbs up? So far we have talked about the why feedback, especially receiving feedback, is so important. We've talked about the hands technique for giving feedback. I use that all the time. Don't tell them. But I use it with my kids. I use it with my VA team, my virtual assistant team. I use it all the time. It's so helpful, I find. And we are also now going to talk. We did the hands. We talked about how much some these fallacies about receiving and giving feedback. And I invited you to join the roundtable if you haven't already. I can see Rania saying, look on Instagram and wondered how is someone going to the airport is posted for others to see. Oh, okay. I'll have to look it up. Yeah, thank you. Just a morning thought. Okay. So nice to have you here, Rania. Long time no see. Okay, can I give a thumbs up for, we're going to do a couple more things. Some tips to help you relax if you're nervous about giving or receiving feedback. And some tips for going forward. We're going to put the I in try. We're going to rename try. Okay, terrific. I've got some thumbs up. Okay, so some of you, if you've been to previous roundtables, I've done this once or twice in the past, but I've added some new things. So please pick a number from 1 to 10 and put that in the chat. So I'll explain all the techniques. And then you're going to try it for just 1 minute. So everyone's going to do it for 1 minute, and then I'll kind of debrief them. So I just want to make sure. Okay, so I see 5 and 7 and 4 and 9. Great. Just want to make sure that all the numbers are taken. We've got 1. Okay. We've got 3. Great. So we need someone on 2 isn't taken. Okay, let's see, 8. 8 is gone. Great. 6. Great. 8. Great. Okay, we need 2, I think. Someone on 2. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then 10. So we need 2 and 10 and 11. Anyone want to try those? We got it. Thank you, Stella, for 2. Anyone want to try 10? Oh, sorry, just 10. Oh, there's no 11. Okay, so we've got at least, I think, 1 person for everyone except for 10. So, oh, thanks, Laura and Shirley. Thank you. Hey, Shirley. Nice to see you. Okay, so I'm going to give you 1 minute. In 1 minute to practice the one that you chose. If you picked number 1, you're going to hold the starfish position. That's with your hands. You're going to ideally stand up and hold your hands like this and stand with your feet far apart. I'll tell you what these things do later on, the science behind them. If you pick number 2, you're going to breathe out longer than you breathe in. You're going to breathe out longer than you breathe in. And the bigger the difference between your in and your out breath, the better. 3s, you're just going to smile for a minute. That's all. Not super smile so your cheeks hurt, but you're just going to smile for 1 minute, and I'll tell you when to begin. Number 4, feel free to vent about something, not in an email. You don't want to be tempted to send it. So you can vent on a piece of paper or in a Word doc. 4, think of something complicated, okay, but it has to be something positive. So think about something like, what is your purpose in life? Why are you on the planet Earth? Or what are your highest ideals, your highest vision, your highest values, things like that. 6s, feel free to, for 1 minute, breathe from your belly, breathe from your diaphragm. And depending where you are, you can always, if it's possible, it may not be possible, lie down and put a book on your stomach and try to get that book to raise as high as you can. Number 7s, see if you can, without touching them, see if you can focus on your hands and try to get them to be warmer. I know these sound strange, but I'm going to explain the neuroscience behind it later. So focus on your hands without touching them and see if you can focus, and imagine you're pushing more blood in there and they're getting warmer. Number 8, there's a spelling error there. Feel free to meditate or pray if that works for you as you wish for 1 minute. Number 9, feel free to brainstorm an emotional rescue playlist. So think about songs that make you feel uplifted, happy, relaxed, stressless, things like that. And then number 10, think about how you could flood your senses with positivity. So you may want to write it down. Think, what can you listen to? What can you smell? What can you touch? All of your different senses that would make you feel positive. So, okay, I'm going to give you 1 minute. Where did I put my phone here? Okay, so any questions on, other than why the heck are we doing these weird things? Any questions on your number? Otherwise, we'll jump in. Any questions on any of the numbers? Are you clear about are you clear on your mission and accepting your mission? Okay. Oh, not clear on number 7. So number 7, number 7 is an unusual one. Padma say, nice to have you here. So without touching your hands, see if you can try to raise the temperature of your hands. See if you can imagine your hands getting warmer than they currently are. And I'm going to explain this all later on. And someone's asking me in a DM, so for things that you're writing, you feel free to write it for yourself, or you can share it in the chat, whatever is most comfortable for you. Great question. Okay, so you've got 1 minute to complete your mission. Okay, and you may begin. Okay, 1 minute. I'll just pause the recording here. A big heartfelt thank you for trying those things. Let me know in the chat, how are you feeling after doing your thing? Let me know in the chat, how are you feeling? And I'm going to go through them one by one and explain them. Laura, it made you smile. Okay, nice, good. So a smile that doesn't go away. Nice, nice. Okay, someone DM'd. Relaxed, someone else said on DM. Calm, said someone on DM. So we've got smiling, smiling that doesn't go away, relaxed, calm, focused. Nice. These are all based on neuroscience. So I'll go through them. And someone DM'd me with some examples of the sensory flooding your senses. These are great, 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 great. Oh, this community is so great. Thank you for trying these. Let me go through them. So again, you know, when we're trying to give or receive feedback, our amygdalas can just really make us go to the fight, freeze or flee place, and things don't come out properly if we're trying to give feedback, and they don't get received properly if we're trying to receive feedback. So these are some techniques that you can try. So one is the starfish. That's Amy Cuddy's research. And you're actually changing the biochemistry of your body. So your testosterone would have gone up after 1 minute, and your cortisol would have gone down. Now, please don't walk away from here saying, this trainer said I should stand like a starfish in front of someone I'm trying to give or receive feedback. No, it's before, right? It's before. It's trying to help you relax, okay? Number 2, same thing. The bigger the difference between breathing in and breathing out, it just helps your body almost immediately, 60 seconds, 90 seconds. It's that difference between a response and a reaction. Smiling, this is a very strange one. It can feel very, very strange. And what's happening here is your brain is registering, Leanne's smiling, she must be happy. I'm going to release chemicals to make her happy. So it's a strange one, but it really does work. I'm not making these up. They're based in science. The venting one, this can help, but there's also a caveat. If you stay in that venting place too long, it can make things worse. So use that one with some caution, right? If you're anxious, nervous, and you want to vent, just use that one with a little bit of caution. Thinking about something complicated that's positive is actually shifting you from the reptilian part of your brain to, you're forcing your brain to use your prefrontal cortex. That's where analysis, innovation, creative thought, strategic thought, all of those things happen here. So you're really using the very sophisticated part of your brain. Breathing from your diaphragm, getting that so actually techniques from 6 down all come from this book I've mentioned before, Conquer Worry and Anxiety. They're all from here. And when we're anxious, we tend to breathe very shallow and from our chest. And what happens is we're actually decreasing the oxygen in our blood, and we're increasing the carbon dioxide. And guess what, folks? That causes irritability, it causes impulsiveness, confusion, bad decision-making. So breathing from your belly actually calms that amygdala down, and you can give and receive feedback better. Okay, maybe the strangest one, trying to visualize warming your hands up. It helps counteract that fight, freeze, or flee response. And this doctor's daughter, the daughter of the author, he taught this to her, and when she was 8 years old, she was able to change the temperature of her hands by 20 degrees Fahrenheit or 7 degrees Celsius. So it's kind of a biofeedback mechanism. That one is going to take a lot of practice, but you can focus on that if you wish. Meditation and prayer. So if you practice Mindfulness. I'll put this in the chat here. There's a really lovely example that the author gives. So may I be safe and secure. May I be healthy and strong. May I be happy and purposeful. May I be at peace. May you be safe and secure. May you be healthy and strong. May you be happy and purposeful. May you be at peace. I just think it's just such a lovely way of getting yourself in the right mindset. The emotional rescue playlist. Music is important. Every known culture has music, and it provides kind of social glue, right? Like it cements social bonds. And it also helps our brains release oxytocin. It helps our brains release oxytocin, which is the cuddle hormone. So I will actually make a note of this. I'll put an example playlist. I have tons of them. I'll put one in the workbook, which you're welcome to play if you wish. And then the last one, flooding your senses. So you can include that playlist, things like hugging and touching. Now, of course, you have to do this appropriately. These are things for yourself. Smell, like using aromatherapy. If you're nervous, you can use things like Rescue Remedy, lavender. If you're anxious, you can use, if you're tired, you can use peppermint or grapefruit, things like that. Really, really can help you calm down almost immediately. Sites, keep a little folder on your desk, on your phone of pictures, images, memes that make you giggle, make you smile. Taste, cinnamon, saffron, I'll put this in the chat here, cinnamon, saffron, mint, sage, and nutmeg are all proven to be mood enhancers. So again, if you're really nervous, you can do that. So what do you think, folks? Does it sound, is there at least one there that you could see yourself using? What do you think? Or do you have any questions on any of those tasks? So someone is saying the smiling. Yeah, it's so easy. So it feels a bit strange, but it is remarkable how well it works. Oh, the smells, Alana, you mean the cinnamon, saffron, mint, sage, nutmeg? It's in the chat if that's what you mean, but let me know if that's what you meant. Those are all things that are known to enhance mood. The scents. So yeah, if you go to any chemist, or you can match them to what you're trying to do. So lavender can help you relax if you're a little anxious. If you're really anxious, Rescue Remedy is a great one. And by the way, these are not they're not drugs, they're not addictive, right? They're all natural kinds of things. If you're exhausted and you need to give or receive feedback, you can use things like peppermint. There's a little kind of the cold medicine you can get here in Kenya. It costs like 40 shillings. Be careful, it's very strong. That little, in North America, we call it Vicks Vapor Rub. You put just a little bit and put here, and if you're tired the night before, you didn't sleep well, you're really, really tired, you're really nervous, those things can really help as well. Just be careful you don't put it anywhere near your eyes because they're strong. Anya's saying, so someone's asking a question about number 5. So when we're stressed, anxious, overwhelmed, exhausted, tired, embarrassed, ashamed, what happens is our amygdala sense that, and they start having us use the reptilian, the oldest part of our brain. It's back here. And it's what we have in common with reptiles. And its only purpose is to try to protect you, but it doesn't do a good job. It's trying to convince you that the only response is fight, right? Freeze, or flee, run away. So if you're thinking about something positive and complicated, you're forcing your brain to not use this part of your brain, but to use the prefrontal cortex. It's amazing. You're literally changing the part of the brain that you're using. Veronica's saying, I've been using smiling before interview, it helps. Yeah, it's so simple, right? It feels a little silly, but it's, I had a very dramatic health incident, a critical health incident for a family member. And I really needed to be supportive and positive and be there for this person. And all I wanted to do was just dissolve in a puddle of tears. My brain was telling me to just freeze and cry. So I went into the bathroom. It's a little personal here, but just to show you how well this works. So what I did was I breathed out as long as I could, and I smiled. Meanwhile, tears are running down my face. I felt super strange, but it worked. It just got me calm enough that I could be there for that person to support them in this medical crisis. Yeah. So you can combine them. You can combine them. And I've been known to do things like this. Like just trying to get every, molecule of oxygen out. If I'm really needing to calm down, if I'm really anxious about something, that longer that you blow out, the better. Okay, Alana saying, thank you so much. Padma saying, I enjoy trekking. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, if you're imagining doing something that you really enjoy doing, it's a great example. Really, really good example. Okay. So I have one request of you with flooding your sense of positivity. The June roundtable, I can hardly believe this, is the 100th roundtable. And several decades ago, I used to have a laugh track that was a tape of all people I knew laughing. And it's infectious, right? Once people listen to it, they just start giggling. So my request to you at the end of the workshop, when it's over, if you would consider, please, hanging around for 30 seconds, 15 seconds, I would love to record you laughing, because I'm making a laugh track to celebrate. I'm going to release it in our 100th roundtable, our big, we're going to have a big party in June. So please, thank you, Padma. That's so nice. So hang around if you're okay about laughing with the group. And if that feels weird, no, I've done it with lots of people. And initially the first couple giggles are a bit stilted, and then people just take off and start laughing. Okay. Can we continue on? I want to do the feedback piece and tips going forward. I want to make sure we're keeping to track on time. Are we okay to go forward? Give me a thumbs up. Great. Okay. So this is, did I spell receiving right? Is it IE or EI? You can let me know in the chat. So this is from, what is this from? This is from Thanks for the Feedback, this book here. And I found this is what initiated this whole roundtable. When someone is giving us feedback, what happens is that feedback is going through three filters. It's going through three filters. So I asked you to bring a filter. Did anyone manage to do that? Did anyone bring a filter? Let me know in the chat. So you can literally RSVP seconds before the roundtable, but if you reply by the deadline, then I send out the agenda ahead of time. So did anyone bring a filter? Maybe not. So just kind of as a fun way, I just want to imagine. So I brought one here. So I've got a copy filter. So imagine that this is like I'm trying to get the feedback through this filter into someone's brain, let it stick, let it resonate, like let it make sense. If this was the feedback, so I brought a toothpick here, would it go through? Would it go through the filter? What do you think? It's not going to work, right? Yeah, exactly. People are DMing me. Well, what about if I don't know if you've seen Guatemalan worry dolls, little tiny dolls. Imagine this was the piece of feedback. Would it get through? Okay. Like it's not going to work, right? People are DMing me. What about like really important feedback? Say it's represented by this little clothes peg. Is that going to get through? No. What about really critical feedback that's represented by this little monkey? Right? Is that going to get through? See all these no's coming through. What about like super important feedback? I just believe this is so important for you to get. If it's represented by this ball, Is it going to get through? I know, right? So when we're receiving feedback and like Stella or someone's DMing, no. Yeah. So what's really important to know is what are these filters, right? What are these filters that they're going through? The feedback is going through. So there's 3 of them. And this is how we're putting the I in try. So in no particular order, it's the filter of truth. So if Anja, I'm just using your name as an example. If Anja's trying to give me some feedback, one of the filters is, do I think what Anja's giving me, the feedback she's giving me, do I think it's true? So it might be completely true in her view, but do I think it's true? Number 2 is, say Alana's giving me some feedback. I'm going to put it through the filter of relationship. So what's my relationship with her? Do I trust her? Do I like her? Do I have a good relationship with her? If I do, that feedback's more likely to get through. If, Alana, pardon me, this isn't true. If I don't like her, if I don't trust her, then even if that feedback is absolutely helpful, useful, amazing, awesome, true, it has a harder time getting through that filter, right? And then I think the most interesting one is identity. So we have one of those toothbrushes that have a water, like they have a water container and then the water goes through the thing and you feel like you're at the dentist. And my partner a couple of weeks ago said to me, you never fill up the water container. And immediately I could feel myself like, that's not true. In my head, I'm thinking, that's not true. I fill it up all the time. And then it went to my sense of identity. I think of myself as, if you and I are, really good friends, if you know me really, really well, chances are you would describe me as very organized. I'm a super organized person. And so he kind of struck at my identity, like, I'm not organized, I'm disorganized, And then I'm like, oh, I can use this in the feedback workshop as an example. So if someone is telling you that you're late all the time, so just again, a wild example. So Martin, we really need to talk about how often you're late to our staff meetings. Meanwhile, I've triggered this identity in Martin, who prides himself on being organized, on time, punctual. If I've triggered something to do with his identity, it's going to be a lot harder for that feedback to get through. So I don't know about you. Let me know what you think in the comments. I think that's a really simple, easy way to think about when we're receiving feedback. If we are getting triggered, to think about, oh, okay, which one of these filters is it triggering? I know we're just about at the end of our time, so may I leave that? I can stick around for a couple minutes at the end if you have extra time, but is it okay if I go on to the tips for moving forward, our last piece? Is that okay? I know I covered that a bit fast. Great. Okay, got some thumbs up there. Okay, so how do you take all this stuff, and going forward? We've covered a lot of information. You've been fabulous, breathing out and starfish and, doing puzzles and all these different things, which I'm so grateful for. So some tips for moving forward. If you can shift from that's wrong to tell me more, right? And again, you'll have access to all this in the PowerPoint, if you remember, I'll send this all out usually on Monday. Oh, actually Monday's a holiday here, so it'll come out on Tuesday. Giving people time to, as they say, rest and digest can really help with being able to receive feedback. So here's some stuff. Let's meet again tomorrow or next week once you've had a time to think about it. I did this with a family member. I was delivering some really, really hard feedback. Oh, it's really, really hard. And I used the hands technique. And then I said, I know this is tough to hear. And when would you like to follow up? Another thing is present, past, future. So start with the present, right? Prime their brains with oxytocin, like what will help you right now. That's from that feedback fallacy book. So if you do want to go to the past, look for examples and talk about the future, but start with what's the most important thing right now. Fallacies. in that survey that I gave you, questions 1 to 15, you'll probably get some of those wrong. There's some shocking things that we kind of think are true, and they're actually not. So you might want to review those. And then if we want to help our colleagues excel, those are questions 16 to 25. So in that same survey, there's some great language in there, tons of great examples. So feel free to pop in that. And that, my lovely colleagues, brings us to the end of our time together. So we've covered a lot of ground. Hopefully you have an understanding of how absolutely critical this is, receiving feedback, how we can do much, much better to prime people to be able to receive it better, techniques to give feedback, the hands technique, some surprising fallacies, things we think are true but aren't, some tips to help settle your nerves if you're nervous about giving or receiving feedback. We talked about 3 different filters: that identity, relationship, and truth are the 3 filters, and a bunch of tips. So as we go forward, please, share that survey with colleagues, with friends, if you like, and the love language survey too. That's kind of a fun one. That's kind of a just a fun one. I'll put all of the reference books. Another one actually I didn't share, but is mistakes were made, but not by me. That's some of the research in the workshop as well. It's on cognitive dissonance, if you know that term. And then practice. You're so welcome, everyone. Laura saying this topic and the information and research is so useful. Thank you so much. Thank you, Laura. Thank you for making time to show up. I really appreciate it. Alana saying, how do you save the survey? Oh, the answers, right click. If you right click on that image, and then you can download it, and it'll, because right on the survey, it shows up very tiny. So right click, it'll download. Yep, you can right click with the Mac. Yeah. Okay, and some people are asking about the attendance sheet. So please stay in touch. Our next roundtable is in May. I'll share that again, and I'll just share the attendance sheet in just half a sec here. So it's all on tech tools. It's going to be really fun. And then June is all on rewards and recognition and a pate, 100th roundtable. So there's the rest of the dates for the year. Also, Helen, you are, Helen, you are the winner. I picked your name from the last month who gave me feedback. So please take a couple of minutes, especially, this is a totally brand new workshop. So I always pick someone who gave me feedback last month to win access to this course. And also in the feedback survey, you get to give me input on what you want to see in next month's topic. Yes, Atikla, the books will be in the workbook. So if you are a member, you have to be a member of the roundtable, and I've shared the link there. If you are a member, you'll get everything. You'll get the workbook, which will have all the resources, including the books. And to join, you can scan this QR code or you can fill in that link. And I get this question all the time. Some people will message me saying, where are the resources? You do need to be a member. So, and someone was asking about the UN attendance sheet. It's in that link right there. Number 2 is the link. And know that the video recording is all time stamped. So you can go exactly to the point you want. Like, oh, what was that hands thing? You just click and it'll go zoom right to that point in the video. So please, if you are interested in talking to me about support with team building, tech tools, or training of trainers, please get in touch. I'll put you can see a bunch of the services that I offer here, and I'll put my email in the chat. Please don't hesitate to drop me an email. I'd love to chat. And I'm going to officially say thank you for participating. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. It's so much fun to connect with everyone. And I'm going to stop the recording, but if you can hang around and laugh so I can record it and add it to this laugh track, which I'll share in the June roundtable, I would really appreciate it. Thank you so much, everyone.